The Arizona desert bleeds copper in the dying light. Heat shimmers rise from cracked earth, distorting the horizon into liquid mirages. In this wasteland 30 miles from anywhere that matters, a firefight tears through the silence like broken glass. Tessa Morgan lies behind a boulder, blood seeping through her left shoulder. The wound burns. She ignores it. 30 yards ahead, her team is pinned down by automatic weapons fire from a fortified position. Brass casings glitter on the sand beside her. The Barrett M8 2A1 rifle rests against her good shoulder. 30 pounds of surgical steel and devastating power. Dock down, dock down. Kowalski's voice cracks over the radio. Fall back. We need to extract. Tessa keys her mic. Her voice is steady, clinical. Negative, I have the shot. Doc, you're wounded. Let us. 1,100 yards, wind 4 miles per hour left to right. I have the shot. She settles into position. The pain in her shoulder fades to background noise. Her breathing slows. In, hold, out. The world narrows to a tunnel. At the end of that tunnel, a man with a rifle is killing her team. Her finger finds the trigger. Steady pressure. Not a pull. A squeeze, the Barrett roars. 3.2 seconds of flight time. The bullet crosses a quarter-mile of superheated air, defying gravity, defying wind, guided by mathematics and muscle memory, older than her service record. The target drops. Silence crashes over the desert. Then Kowalski's voice, barely a whisper. Doc, what are you? The image freezes. Blood, desert, rifle. The question hanging in the burning air. Then everything fades to black. 72 hours earlier, Naval Air Station North Island sits like a fortress on the edge of San Diego Bay. Morning fog rolls in from the Pacific, shrouding the tarmac in gray silence. Tessa Morgan walks across the flight-lined sea bag over one shoulder, medical kit over the other. Her boots make no sound. She has learned to move quietly. She is small, 5 feet 4 inches in boots, 118 pounds with full gear. The kind of small that makes men underestimate her. She has learned to use that too. Building 14 houses, the SEAL team briefing rooms. Inside, fluorescent lights hum against institutional beige walls. A yeoman checks her orders, nods, points down a hallway. Room 3. She walks, counts doors, stops. Through the window, 6 men sit around a tactical table. Large men, hard men, men whose bodies speak of years pushing past human limits. She recognizes the breed. She has worked with them before, though they do not know it, cannot know it. She knocks. Once. Precise. Enter. The room smells of coffee and gun oil. 6 pairs of eyes turn toward her, measure her, dismiss her in the span of a heartbeat. She has seen this look before too. She stands at attention, eyes forward. Petty Officer Tessa Morgan, reporting as ordered, sir. The man at the head of the table stands, Commander Hayes, 42 years old, silver threading through dark hair. Eyes that have seen things that leave marks. His handshake is firm, but not testing. Professional. At ease, Morgan. Welcome to the team. He gestures to the others. This is Chief Thorne, my senior enlisted. Kowalski, Brennan, Larson, and Thompson. She nods to each, commits faces to memory. Chief Thorne watches her with unusual intensity. Something flickers in his eyes. Recognition impossible. She has never worked with SEALs. Not officially. You'll be providing medical support for Operation Desert Viper, Hayes continues. Domestic counter-terrorism. Militia group operating out of Nevada. Standard op. You stay back, provide casualty care if needed. Questions? No, sir. Good. Chief Thorne will get you squared away. Dismissed. She follows Thorne out of the briefing room. He walks with a slight, limp old injury favoring his left leg. They move through corridors in silence until they reach the team room. Equipment racks line the walls. Weapons, gear, the organized chaos of a special operations unit. Thorne stops, turns to face her. His eyes are gray, storm-colored. They study her face with an intensity that makes her skin prickle. Have we met Corman? The question catches her off guard, a fraction of a second barely noticeable, but he notices. She sees it, register. No, Chief. This is my first assignment with SEALs. He tilts his head slightly. Something familiar about you. She says nothing. The silence stretches. Finally, he gestures to an empty locker. That's yours. Gear up. We move out at 0500 tomorrow. Aye, Chief. He leaves. She exhales slowly, opens the locker. Inside, standard issue medical kit. She begins inventory automatically. Combat application tourniquet, hemostatic gauze, needle decompression kit, morphine auto-injectors. Her hands move with practiced efficiency. Hey, Doc. She turns. Kowalski leans against a gear rack, arms crossed. 6 feet tall, shoulders like a linebacker, face that has stopped caring about being pretty. Yeah. You ever work with teams before special operations? No. Good. Then you won't have bad habits. He grins, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Stay back, stay out of the way, come when we call you. Simple. She nods. Understood. He walks away. She returns to her inventory. Her hands are steady. They are always steady, even when her heart rate climbs, even when old memories surface like bodies from deep water. The medical kit is organized wrong. She begins rearranging. Tourniquets need to be accessible in 3 seconds or less. Hemostatic agents near the top. Airway equipment separated from circulation equipment. Her fingers know the patterns. They learn them in places these men have never been. You reorganizing gear your first day, Brennan. Communications specialist. Younger than the others, maybe 29, still has hope in his eyes. Yes. Why by? Because when I need something, I need it in 3 seconds. Not 5, not 10, 3. He considers this, nods. Fair enough, you need help. No, thank you. He leaves. She continues working. Alone again. She prefers it that way. Alone is simpler. Alone carries fewer questions. That night in the barracks, she lies on her rack and stares at the ceiling. Tomorrow they will begin training. They will watch her, judge her, find her wanting because she is small, because she is female, because she is just a medic. She has weathered this before. What they will not see is the way her fingers remember the grip of a rifle, the way her eyes automatically calculate distances and windage, the way her body maps exits and cover without conscious thought. These are not medical skills. These are skills from another life, one she walked away from, one she promised herself she would never return to. But promises she has learned are fragile things. The desert training range sprawls across 40 square miles of nothing. No shade, no water, no mercy. The temperature climbs past 100 degrees by 0800. Tessa follows the team at a prescribed distance, medical pack on her back, eyes scanning for threats that exist only in training scenarios. They have been moving for 3 hours. The team sweats but doesn't slow. They are machines, these men, perfectly calibrated instruments of controlled violence. She watches them move, reads their patterns, sees the invisible threads of communication that bind them. Chief Thorne raises his fist. The team freezes. Tessa drops to one knee, scanning her sector. Movement ahead. Training target. The team flows forward like water, clearing the structure with brutal efficiency. She waits, listens, counts shots. 6, 7, 8. Clear. She moves forward. They have already moved on to the next objective. She is always behind, always catching up. This is her role, the afterthought, the insurance policy no one wants to use. At the water break, she studies them. Kowalski cleaning his rifle with the kind of love some men reserve for family. Brennan checking radio equipment, lips moving in silent frequency checks. Larson, the youngest, still learning to hide his nervousness behind bravado. And Thorne, always watching her, always almost saying something. The recognition in his eyes grows stronger each hour. It worries her. Hayes calls him in. Scenario 2, hostage rescue. Tessa, you're setting up casualty collection point here. He points to a position 400 yards back from the target structure. We extract wounded to you. Clear. Yes, sir. They move out. She establishes her position. Unpacks trauma supplies. Sets up IV bags. Checks equipment. The role is familiar. Comfortable. Safe. The scenario begins. Gunfire. Controlled chaos. Radio chatter. Then Hayes' voice, urgent. Doc Larson is down, heat casualty. She moves, grabs her kit, runs. Larson lies in the sand, face flushed crimson, breathing rapid and shallow. The team clusters around him, uncertain. They know violence. They do not know this. Tessa kneels. Her hands move automatically, fingers to his neck. Pulse rapid, thready, 120 beats per minute, skin hot and dry, no sweat. Stage 2 hyperthermia, possibly progressing to heat stroke. Move back, give me space. Her voice is calm, command not request. They move. She strips his armor. Pours water from her pack onto his shirt, creating evaporative cooling. Ice packs from her kit go to neck, armpits, groin. Major blood vessels. Cool the core temperature fast. Brennan, IV setup. 18-gauge needle, normal saline wide open. He hands her the equipment. She finds the vein on first stick. Tapes the line, checks flow. Core temperature estimated 104. Risk of rhabdomyolysis if we don't drop it 15% in the next 10 minutes. Keep pouring water. Not on his face. torso and extremities. They obey. She monitors his pulse, counts respirations, watches for seizure activity. Her hands never stop moving. Check airway, monitor pulse, adjust cooling. The medical dance she has performed 100 times in a dozen countries under conditions far worse than this. 8 minutes later, Larson's skin begins to cool. Pulse drops to 98. Respiratory rate normalizes. His eyes flutter open. Doc, you're okay. Heat exhaustion. You're going to feel like hell for a while. Stay hydrated. Hayes watches from a few feet away. When she stands, he nods. Good work, Morgan. Fast thinking. Just doing my job, sir. But something has shifted. She sees it in their eyes. Kowalski no longer looks dismissive. Brennan watches her with new respect. Even Larson, weak but conscious, manages a thumbs up. Chief Thorne helps her pack the medical gear. His hands are economical practiced. Former medic, she remembers Hayes saying. You've done this before, Thorne says quietly. Real world, not just training. She focuses on repacking supplies. 4 years as a corpsman, you see cases. No, his voice is certain. This wasn't textbook. This was muscle memory, battlefield medicine. You didn't think, you just acted. She zips the kit closed, meets his eyes. Sometimes thinking takes too long, Chief. He holds her gaze. Somalia, 2021, Joint Task Force Operation. 3 Rangers pinned down by small arms fire. Corpsman came out of nowhere, stopped the bleeding, extracted them under fire, in and out in 90 seconds. I never saw her face clearly. Smoke, chaos. But I saw her hands. Tessa's heart rate climbs, stays perfectly still. Your hands, Corpsman, I'd know them anywhere. Steady when they shouldn't be, fast when they need to be. She calculates responses. Denial, deflection, silence. Chooses the third. Thorne smiles slightly, sad knowing. Don't worry. Your secret's safe. Whatever you were before, whoever you were, I owe you my life. I won't forget that. He walks away. She stands in the desert heat, medical kit at her feet, and feels the past circling closer. That night briefing for the actual operation. The room is dark except for the glow of the tactical display. Nevada desert, militia compound, 30 suspected members, weapons stockpile. Intelligence indicates planning for an attack on Hoover Dam. Hayes runs through the plan. Infiltration, surveillance, capture if possible, eliminate if necessary, standard direct action. Tessa will be positioned at Overwatch medical support only. Questions. Kowalski raises his hand. Doc's positioning. 400 yards back feels far if we take casualties. Hayes considers. We'll have QRF on standby. 15-minute response time. Lot can happen in 15 minutes, sir. Noted. Doc, can you handle moving forward if we need you? All eyes turn to her. She nods. Yes, sir. Good. We infill at 0200. Wheels up at 2300. Get rest. They disperse. Tessa walks to her locker, pulls out her personal kit. Inside, buried under civilian clothes, a photograph. Creased, worn, carried across continents. A man in uniform, Delta Force insignia, kneeling beside a 10-year-old girl, both holding rifles, both smiling. Captain William Morgan, her father. Dead 8 years this month. Killed in a training accident that was never fully explained. Classified details. Sealed records. The kind of death that raises questions no one will answer. He taught her to shoot, taught her to breathe, taught her that steady hands can save lives or take them, and the difference lies in the heart that guides them. She promised her mother she would never touch a rifle again. 8 years of keeping that promise. 8 years of choosing scalpels over triggers. But tonight, as she packs her gear, she feels the weight of that promise shifting. Cracking, the photograph stares back at her. Her father's eyes. She has those eyes. Storm gray, unflinching. I'm sorry, Mom, she whispers to the empty room. But I think the promise is breaking. She slides the photo back into its hiding place. Tomorrow, everything changes. She can feel it in her bones. In the way Thorne watches her. In the way her hands remember things her mind has tried to forget. The desert waits. And in the desert, secrets have a way of surfacing. The Black Hawk's rotors cut through midnight air. Inside, 6 SEALs and 1 corpsman sit in darkness, faces painted, weapons loaded. No one speaks. The only sounds are engine noise and the rhythmic thump of rotor blades. Tessa checks her medical kit for the 3rd time. Everything is where it should be. Her hands know the inventory by touch. Tourniquets, hemostatic agents, airway kit, IV supplies, morphine. The tools of her trade, but her eyes keep drifting to the rifles racked along the helicopter's wall. M4 carbines, shorter than her father's rifles. Different furniture, same deadly mathematics. She knows their weight, their balance, their recoil. Knowledge she should not have. Knowledge that belongs to another version of herself. 5 minutes, the crew chief calls. The team conducts final checks. Thorne catches her eye, nods once. Hayes gives the brief one more time. Economical, no wasted words. Brennan tests comms. Kowalski locks his bolt forward with a metallic snap that sounds like finality. The helicopter descends. Desert rushes up to meet them. The crew chief slides the door open. Heat and dust blast inward. They are landing 3 miles from the target. The approach will be on foot. Silence is survival. They touch down. The team flows out like water. Tessa follows last off medical packs, settling familiar weight across her shoulders. The helicopter lifts rotor wash, beating the desert into submission, then fading into the distance. Silence. Complete. Absolute. The kind of silence that makes you hear your own heartbeat. Hayes hand signals. They move out. Tessa falls into position, maintaining interval watching where she steps. No sound, no light. Ghosts crossing a dead land. 1 hour of movement. 2. The compound appears as a dark shape against darker desert. Lights visible. Activity. Hayes halts them 400 yards out. Sets perimeter. Points Tessa to her position. She establishes her casualty collection point behind a low ridge. Good cover. Line of sight to the compound. She unpacks trauma supplies, sets up her workspace. Waits. The team moves forward. She watches them fade into darkness. Alone again. The desert presses close. Stars burn overhead, indifferent to human struggles. Radio crackle. Doc radio check. She keys her mic. Lima Charlie. Copy. Stand by. She waits. Minutes stretch. Somewhere men are moving into position, preparing to bring violence to other men. The mathematics of war. She used to be part of those calculations before she chose healing over harm. Then the world explodes. Gunfire rips through the night. Automatic weapons. The distinctive crack of rifles. Shouts. Return fire. The carefully planned operation dissolving into chaos. Hayes's voice on the radio, urgent ambush. They knew we were coming. Brennan is hit. Larson is hit. Doc, we need you now. She moves, grabs her kit, runs toward the gunfire. Every instinct screaming, this is wrong. Running toward danger is wrong, but her training overrides instinct. Her teammates are bleeding. Nothing else matters. 400 yards at a run. Weight on her desert fighting her every step. Bullets snap overhead. She finds cover, locates the team. Brennan lies behind a boulder shoulder, pumping blood. Larson clutching his leg, face twisted in pain. The team returns fire, pinned down by a position they cannot flank. Tessa reaches Brennan first. Shoulder wound through and through, missed major vessels by inches. She packs the wound, applies pressure bandage, secures it, moves to Larson. Thigh wound, possible femoral nick, but pressure is holding. Tourniquet above the wound, tighten until pulse stops. Mark time on his forehead with his own blood. He'll live. 750 yards, Kowalski shouts over the gunfire. Sniper position, can't get an angle, QRF is 25 minutes out. Hayes curses. We're pinned, can't move with casualties, can't stay here. Options. Tessa's eyes scan the battlefield. Finds Brennan's rifle. Barrett M8 2A1. 50 caliber. 30 pounds of devastating precision. He dropped it when he was hit. It lies in the sand 3 feet away. Her hands remember. Her father's voice echoes across 8 years of silence. Steady, Tessa. Breathe. The rifle is just a tool. You are the weapon. She looks at the Barrett, looks at her bleeding teammates, looks at the sniper position where muzzle flash winks like a malevolent star. The promise to her mother cracks like ice under pressure. I can make that shot, she says quietly. Hayes turns, stares at her. What, 750 yards? I can make that shot. Kowalski's face twists in disbelief. Doc, that's a 50 caliber. You ever even fired? She is already moving, reaches the Barrett, lifts it, 30 pounds. She has carried more. She finds stable position, deploys the bipod, settles behind the scope. The world narrows. Everything she has denied for 8 years floods back. Muscle memory, breathing rhythm, windage calculation. Her father's training, buried but never forgotten. Doc, wait, Hayes starts. She ignores him. Finds the target through the scope. 750 yards. Slight wind left to right. Temperature drop since nightfall. Bullet drop. All the variables dancing through her mind like old friends. She breathes. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Heart rate drops. 62. 58, 54. Her finger finds the trigger. Steady pressure. The Barrett roars. Recoil slams into her shoulder. The sound crashes across the desert like the voice of God. 750 yards downrange sand explodes 8 inches to the right of the sniper's position. Miss. Behind her, stunned silence. Then Kowalski, what the fuck? She adjusts, wind shifted. 3 miles per hour, not 2. Recalculate. Her hands move automatically, making minute corrections. Muscle memory, 8 years dormant, waking like something that never truly slept. Breathe in, hold out. Heart rate steady, target acquired, wind, distance, temperature, gravity. All the mathematics of death. Squeeze. The Barrett roars again. This time 750 yards away, the sniper drops. Clean. Final. The hostile fire ceases. Absolute silence. Tessa remains perfectly still. Smoke rises from the Barrett's muzzle. Her shoulder throbs where the recoil bruised it, but her hands are steady. They are always steady. She stands, turns. 6 pairs of eyes stare at her, not recognition, not respect. Something closer to shock, to fear, to the realization that the small, quiet medic is something else entirely. Hayes finds his voice first. Where, where the hell did you learn to shoot like that? She looks at him, looks at the rifle, looks back at her wounded teammates who are alive because she broke her promise. My father taught me, she says quietly, a long time ago. Kowalski steps forward, eyes wide. 750 yards. Cold bore. Barrett. First shot, miss, second shot, kill. That's not beginner's luck. That's not even advanced training. We need to extract, she interrupts. Brennan and Larson need surgery within 2 hours. I've stabilized them, but we need to move, now. Hayes nods slowly, still processing. Right, QRF is inbound. We hold position. Doc Tessa, we will be having a conversation when we get back. She nods, returns to her patients, checks vitals, adjusts bandages. Professional, clinical, as if she did not just shatter every assumption they held about her. But inside she feels the past unfurling like a dark flower. The promise broken, the secret exposed. And in the distance, like thunder on a clear day, she hears the sound of questions that will demand answers she cannot give. The extraction helicopter arrives 17 minutes later. They load the wounded. The team maintains security perimeter. Tessa works hands steady, face calm, while inside her mind races through calculations of a different kind. How much to tell? How much to hide? How to explain that the quiet corpsman carries skills from shadows they do not know exist? As they lift off, desert falling away beneath them, she sees Chief Thorne watching her. In his eyes, recognition has become certainty. He knows. Maybe not everything, but enough. The helicopter races toward the sunrise. Behind them, the compound burns. Ahead, in the clean light of morning, questions wait. And Tessa Morgan, who promised 8 years ago never to touch a rifle again, must find a way to explain why her hands remember what her heart tried to forget. The first secret is out, but it is only the first, and the deepest secrets are yet to come. The sunrise paints the base medical facility in shades of gold and amber. Inside, sterile white corridors smell of antiseptic and strong coffee. Tessa sits outside the operating room, still in her combat gear, dried blood cracking on her sleeves. Brennan's blood, Larson's blood, the blood of men she saved. Her hands rest in her lap. Steady. They are always steady, even now with the weight of what she has done pressing down like atmosphere at depth. The door opens. A surgeon emerges, mask pulled down, exhaustion evident in the lines around his eyes. He nods to her. Both stable. Brennan will be in a sling for 6 weeks. Larson needs physical therapy, but he'll keep the leg. You did good work out there, Corpsman. She nods, cannot find words. The surgeon moves on. She remains seated, watching morning light creep across linoleum floors. Footsteps approach. Heavy boots. Multiple sets. She does not need to look up to know who it is. Doctor, we need to talk. Hayes stands over her, behind him the entire team, even Thorne, who should be resting his old injuries. They form a semicircle blocking her exit. Not threatening, just inevitable. She stands. Yes, sir. Conference room, now. They walk through corridors that feel suddenly too narrow. The conference room is small, windowless, designed for classified briefings. The door closes with a sound like a cell locking. 6 men and 1 woman. The air thick with questions. Hayes sits. The others remain standing, a wall of muscle in suspicion and confusion. Kowalski speaks first, his voice tight with something between anger and awe. 750 yards. Cold bore shot, Barrett M82A1, 30-pound rifle you'd never touched before. He leans forward. First shot you missed by 8 inches. Second shot you dropped the target clean. In combat, under stress, with wounded teammates bleeding out. He pauses. The silence is louder than gunfire. That's not possible, Doc. That's not training. That's not even talent. That's something else. So I'm going to ask you straight, and I need a straight answer. His eyes bore into hers. Who the hell are you? She meets his gaze, holds it. In the space between heartbeats, she makes a decision. Truth, or at least layers of it. It wasn't the first time I've fired a Barrett, she says quietly. We gathered that much, Hayes says. Where did you learn? She reaches into her cargo pocket, pulls out her wallet. Inside, protected by plastic, a photograph. Creased, worn, carried across years and continents. She places it on the table. A man in uniform kneels beside a young girl. Both hold rifles. Both smile. The girl cannot be more than 12. The man wears Delta Force insignia. My father, Captain William Morgan, Delta Force, sniper instructor at Fort Benning for 8 years. Her voice is steady, clinical, as if discussing someone else's history. He started teaching me to shoot when I was 10 years old. Thorne picks up the photograph, studies it, passes it to Hayes. Every weekend, Tessa continues, from age 10 to 18, he taught me everything. Breathing, trigger control, wind reading, ballistics, range estimation. How to make a rifle become an extension of your body instead of a tool in your hands. She pauses, remembers. Her father's voice in her ear. Steady, Tessa. Don't pull the trigger. Squeeze it. Let it surprise you. I competed, junior divisions, state championships in Montana when I was 14, again at 16. At 18, I placed third in the National Junior Long Range Championship. 700 yards variable wind-moving targets. She looks at Kowalski. That's where I learned. From the best instructor in the Army, who also happened to be my father. The room is silent. Hayes studies the photograph. What happened to him? Helicopter crash, training accident, Fort Rucker, Alabama. March 2016. He was supervising a night insertion exercise. Mechanical failure. Bird went down hard. He died on impact along with 4 other soldiers. She recites the facts like a medical report. Detached, professional, as if the words do not carry the weight of a world ending. I was 18, about to graduate high school, had offers from competitive shooting programs, college scholarships, a clear path. She takes the photograph back from Hayes, looks at her father's face. My mother asked me to make a different choice. What choice? Hayes asks, though his tone suggests he already knows. She asked me to promise I would never pick up a rifle again, to use my hands to save lives instead of... She trails off. To honor my father's memory by choosing healing over what he did. Tessa slides the photograph back into her wallet, back into the darkness where memories live. I promised. At his funeral, standing beside his flag-draped coffin, I promised my mother I would never touch a rifle again. That was 8 years ago. I kept that promise. She looks up, meets 6 pairs of eyes. Until last night, the silence stretches. Then Brennan's voice, soft, almost reverent. You broke an 8-year promise to save us. She nods. Yes. Kowalski sits down heavily, runs his hands through his hair. Jesus, Doc, I'm sorry for doubting you, for the comments, for treating you like you were just a medic. She almost smiles. I am just a medic. That's what I chose to become. The shooting, that's who I used to be, not who I am. Hayes leans back in his chair. Your father was Delta, sniper instructor. That explains the shooting. The competitions explain the skill under pressure. He pauses, studies her face with an intensity that makes her skin prickle. But it doesn't explain everything. Tessa's heart rate climbs, stays perfectly still. Sir Hayes gestures to Thorne. The chief steps forward, his gray eyes holding secrets. Your movement patterns, Thorne says quietly, the way you approach the wounded under fire. That wasn't medic training. That was tactical movement. Bounding overwatch, using cover and concealment like someone who's done it 100 times in real combat, not in training scenarios. He sits on the edge of the table, close enough that she can see the scars on his hands. Your field medicine, the way you treated Brennan and Larson, no hesitation, no checklist running through your head. Pure muscle memory, battlefield medicine, the kind you only develop by treating real casualties in real combat, multiple times. Tessa feels the walls closing in. Thorne is too perceptive, too experienced. And there is something else in his eyes, something that looks like recognition. And then there's the way you set up your casualty collection point, Thorne continues. Good cover, lines of sight, escape routes already mapped. You didn't think about those things, you just did them. Automatically, like someone who's operated in hostile territory before. He leans forward. I've seen your techniques before, Tessa, your hands, your movements, the way you work under fire. His voice drops. Somalia, 2021, Joint Task Force Operation. 3 Rangers got pinned down by small arms fire in Mogadishu. Corpsman appeared out of nowhere, stopped the bleeding, extracted them under fire, 90 seconds, then disappeared before anyone could get a good look. Tessa's pulse hammers. She keeps her face neutral. I was one of those Rangers, Thorne says quietly. I saw your hands. I've spent 3 years trying to remember where I'd seen them before. And now I know, Daran. Sean. The room holds its breath. Hayes looks between them. Chief, what are you saying? Thorne never breaks eye contact with Tessa. I'm saying our doc has operational experience we don't know about. Something that involves operating in hostile territory, under fire, making life and death decisions without backup. He sits back. I'm also saying I owe her my life. And whatever she was before whoever she worked for, I trust her. Completely. Hayes turns to Tessa. Is he right? Do you have operational experience beyond what's in your official record? She calculates. Truth versus security, loyalty versus classification. The team has earned honesty, but some truths are not hers to give. Chief, that operation is classified, she says carefully. I'm not asking for operational details, Hayes replies. I'm asking if you have combat experience beyond what's in your official record. She meets his eyes, makes a choice. Yes, sir. The word hangs in the air like smoke. Hayes nods slowly. How much experience? Enough that operating under fire feels natural. Enough that I don't think about cover and concealment. I just move. Enough that treating casualties under hostile conditions is muscle memory, not training recall. What unit? I can't answer that, sir. It's classified above your clearance level. Kowalski laughs sharp and disbelieving. Classified above a SEAL team commander's clearance. What the hell kind of unit operates at that level? Tessa says nothing. The silence is answer enough. Hayes leans forward. When did you serve in this unit? She calculates what she can reveal. I joined the Navy as a corpsman in 2017. I was 19. Standard training at Fort Sam Houston. Graduated top of my class, assigned to a Marine unit for 9 months. Then, she pauses. Then I was recruited. Recruited by who? I can't answer that. When 2018, I was 20 years old. And you served in this unit for how long? 5 years, 2018 to 2023. The math plays out across their faces. Tessa Morgan, now 26 years old, 5 years in a classified unit, operating at a level that requires clearances above a SEAL commander. The implications settle like lead weights. What kind of operations, Hayes asks. Medical support for special activities, sometimes embedded with units. Sometimes, she hesitates. Sometimes independent. Independent, Kowalski's voice cracks. You mean solo? You operated alone? When necessary. My role was to provide medical support in situations where traditional medical personnel couldn't be present. Sometimes that meant going in alone, treating casualties, extracting, then leaving. How many times? Thorne asks softly. She looks at him. The Ranger she saved in Mogadishu. One of many. Enough that I lost count. The words drop like stones into deep water. The men around the table process this. Their quiet medic, their small, unassuming doc, has operated independently in hostile territory, has treated casualties under fire, has done things they are not cleared to know about. Hayes runs his hand over his face. Why did you leave? This is the question she has been dreading. The answer that reveals more than operational history. The answer that exposes the kingdom. Because it was breaking me, she says simply. Operating alone, making decisions with no backup, watching people die when you can't save them, treating enemies and allies with the same hands, coming back to empty rooms, no debrief, no one to talk to, just classified reports and new orders. She looks down at her hands, steady hands that have held scalpels and rifles and dying men. The nightmares got worse, the flashbacks. I started making mistakes, small ones at first, then bigger. On my 7th deployment, I froze during a firefight, just for 3 seconds. But 3 seconds is enough to die. I realized I was burned out. Liability. So I requested transfer. Medical support for conventional units. No more classified work. No more solo operations. Just medicine. And they let you go, ma'am? Hayes asked. Eventually. I was good at what I did. They didn't want to lose me, but I made it clear I was done. They transferred me, shrubbed my record, gave me a clean slate and a conventional assignment. She meets Hayes' eyes. SEAL support was supposed to be routine. Medical backup, low stress, a chance to heal. Only Kowalski shakes his head. You're 26 years old, 5 years of that kind of work, and you walked away. I had to, before it destroyed me completely. Thorne speaks quietly. When I saw you in Somalia, you moved like you'd done it 1,000 times. Calm under fire. Precise. I thought you were a ghost. Now I understand. You were. I'm trying not to be anymore, Tessa says softly. Hayes stands, walks to the window, stares at the sunrise. When he turns back, his face has settled into decision. Your past is your business, Petty Officer Morgan. What matters to me is competence, loyalty, ability to do the job. He looks at each team member in turn. She saved Brennan and Larson. She neutralized a hostile that had us pinned. She operated under fire without hesitation. That's what matters. He looks at Tessa. We have another operation. 48 hours from now, the militia leadership escaped last night. They're holding hostages. 3 civilians. Intel says they're planning execution as retaliation. Tessa's stomach tightens. Rules of engagement. Rescue priority. Hostages must come out alive. Long-range overwatch required. And immediate medical capability in case it goes wrong. The unspoken question hangs between them. You're asking if I'll shoot again, Tessa says. I'm asking if you can. Not skill. I know you have that. But whether you can do it without breaking yourself again. She thinks about the promise to her mother. Already broken. Thinks about the nightmares. Thinks about Brennan and Larson alive because she chose action over promises. Yes, sir, I can. Hayes nods. Then I'm redesignating your role. Combat Medical Specialist Tactical. You're an operator now, part of the team, with all that entails. Understood, sir. Brief is at 1400. Get cleaned up. Rest. We'll talk specifics then. The team files out. Only Thorne remains. He approaches Tessa, speaks quietly. In Somalia, when you saved us, you were wounded too. I saw blood on your arm, but you didn't stop. You treated us and disappeared. I always wondered if you treated yourself after, or if you were alone with that wound. The memory surfaces. Safe house in Mogadishu, treating the gunshot wound in her arm by herself. No morphine, just whiskey and will. Stitching her own flesh while tears ran down her face. Alone. Always alone. I was alone, she says simply. Thorne nods. Not anymore. You're part of this team now. Remember that. He leaves. Tessa sits in the empty conference room. Her phone vibrates. She pulls it out, expecting routine message. Instead, encrypted text. Unlisted number. Saw the after-action report. Impressive shot. Are you sure you want to stay retired? She deletes it, blocks the number. Her old life reaching out like drowning man clutching at swimmers. She will not be pulled under. Another message. This one from a number she recognizes. Her mother. I heard about the mission. Call me when you can. Love you. Tessa stares at the words. Her mother. The woman who asked her to promise. The woman who held her at her father's funeral and whispered, please no more guns, no more violence. She finds a quiet corner. Dials. It rings twice. Tessa. Her mother's voice, controlled but fragile. Mom, I broke my promise. Silence on the line, then soft crying. Tessa's heart breaks. I'm sorry, I had to. My teammates would have died. I couldn't. Sweetheart, her mother's voice steadier now. I know, I saw the report. Tessa's world tilts. You saw the report. How? A long pause. Because I still have clearance. Colonel Elizabeth Morgan, Army Intelligence, retired. Did you really think your father married a civilian? The revelation crashes over Tessa like cold water. You were intelligence. 22 years. I met your father on a joint operation in Bosnia. We both knew what classified work cost. Her mother's voice breaks. We both agreed we didn't want that life for you. Then why did you let Dad teach me to shoot? Because he believed in preparing you for anything. He said shooting was a skill, something you might need. We never thought you'd end up doing what we did, operating in shadows, coming home with pieces missing. Tessa closes her eyes. I tried to keep the promise for 8 years. I know. And I'm not angry. I'm terrified. Because I know what that life does. I saw it destroy good people. I saw your father come home from missions he couldn't talk about, staring at walls, not sleeping. I'm already haunted, Mom. The unit, the operations, the people I couldn't save. I thought walking away would help, but the ghosts followed. They always do. The question is what you do with them. Do you let them destroy you or make peace? How much am I in? By understanding you don't have to choose between your father's skills and my values. You can honor both. Protect when necessary, heal when possible. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Tessa wipes her eyes. There's another mission. Hostages. They want me to be both, sniper and medic. Her mother is quiet. When she speaks, her voice carries weight of experience. Then do both. Your father gave you one set of tools. I gave you another. Use them both wisely. And Tessa, come home alive. That's all I ask. I promise. Good. And your father would be proud, not of the shooting, of the choice to protect others, even when it costs you. They talk for minutes more, normal things, weather, family, the conversations that feel surreal after revelations. When they hang up, Tessa sits in silence. Her mother was intelligence. Her father was Delta. She is their daughter, healer and fighter. Both. She walks to her quarters, showers, lies down. Sleep comes slowly. When it does, nightmares wait. Mogadishu, Aleppo, Sana'a, faces of the dead, faces of the saved, blurring together. She wakes to her alarm. 1400 hours. Time to brief. The briefing room waits. The team waits. The mission waits. And Tessa Morgan, daughter of shadows, walks toward it with steady hands and a heart that has stopped running from what it has always been. Both protector and healer. Both hands. One mission. The second layer of truth is exposed. But the deepest test is yet to come. 48 hours pass in preparation that feels like ritual. Tessa runs the Barrett through drills until muscle memory is perfect. She reorganizes her medical kit 3 times. 2 sets of skills, 2 halves of herself. She must prove they can coexist. The final briefing comes at 0600, Nevada desert again. Different compound, same enemy, but this time civilians. 3 of them, a family. Father, mother, teenage daughter. Wrong place, wrong time. Hayes stands before the tactical display. Satellite imagery shows a 2-story structure, reinforced concrete, 1,100 yards from the nearest viable sniper position. Intel confirms 3 civilian hostages, 2nd floor northeast corner, Hayes explains. Militia leadership is using them as leverage, demands we withdraw. Give them 24 hours to escape. In exchange, they release the family. We're not negotiating, Kowalski states. No, we extract, fast insertion, overwhelm defenses, secure hostages, extract in 4 minutes. Overwatch, Thorne asks. Hayes looks at Tessa. Petty Officer Morgan provides long-range support from here. He indicates a ridgeline. Eliminate threats to the breach team or hostages, and be ready for immediate medical if extraction goes wrong. Everyone understands Tessa must be sniper and medic, switch between roles in seconds. Can you do both, Morgan? Hayes asks. She thinks of her mother's words. Use both sets of tools wisely. Yes, sir. Green light, wheels up at 2200. Rest. Check gear. Dismissed. The team disperses. Tessa walks to the armory, checks out the Barrett, field strips it, cleans parts already clean, reassembles with eyes closed. The rifle becomes familiar again. Old friend from a life she tried to leave. That afternoon, she runs drills on the range, 1,100 yards. Variable wind, building the precision back. Thorne finds her, watches her shoot. You're compensating for wind shift too early. Wait for the gust to pass. She adjusts, fires, dead center. Better. He sits on an equipment crate. Can I ask something? Yes, Chief. The nightmares, the PTSD, do they go away? She lowers the rifle, looks at him, sees the same shadows she carries. No, they get quieter. You learn to live with them instead of letting them live through you. How bitindeno? By making peace with what you've done, understanding you did what was necessary, forgiving yourself for being human when situations demanded more. Thorne nods slowly. When you saved us in Somalia, I had nightmares for 2 years. Kept seeing my blood in sand, kept feeling certain I'd die. Then you appeared, hands moving so fast, so sure. I thought if I die now, at least someone tried. He looks at her. You gave me peace that day, not just life. Peace that even in hell there's compassion. I'm not an angel, Chief. I've killed. So have I. So as everyone on this team, the difference is why. You didn't hunt, you protected. That matters. Does it? The people I killed are still dead, but the people you saved are alive. That counts. Tessa fires 3 more rounds, all perfect. Tomorrow I have to be both, she says quietly. Switch in seconds. What if I freeze? What if the ghosts are too loud? Thorne stands, places hand on her shoulder. You remember why you're doing it. 3 people who did nothing wrong, the team who trusts you, the promise to come home alive. He squeezes once. You won't freeze. You've done harder things alone. Tomorrow you have us. Night falls. Tessa lies on her rack. Sleep won't come. The mission runs through her mind. Insertion, setup, wait, shoot, switch, save extract. So many points where it can fail. At 2200, they board the helicopter. Flight is quiet. Men checking weapons. Entering that space where fear is acknowledged, then set aside. Tessa checks medical kit one final time. Then the Barrett. Both tools. Both necessary. Both ready. They land 3 miles from target. Nevada desert at night is cold and black. Stars blaze overhead. Team moves out. Tessa follows carrying both rifle and medical pack. 80 pounds of contradictory purpose. 90 minutes to reach the ridgeline. Climbing in darkness. Silent. When they arrive, Hayes positions the breach team. Turns to Tessa. Your position is 200 yards northeast. Elevated. Best sight lines. Set up. Radio check at 0230. Breach at 0300. Yes, sir. Good luck, Morgan. She climbs to her position. Small plateau with good cover and clear line of sight. 1100 yards to the compound. She sees lights, movement. The enemy unaware. She sets up the Barrett. Bipod deployed. Scope adjusted for distance and elevation. Checks wine with handheld anemometer. 5.3 miles per hour. Variable, southwest to northeast. Makes minute adjustments. Then unpacks medical kit. Positions it within arm's reach. Tourniquets visible. Hemostatic gauze ready. If something goes wrong, she needs to grab supplies and run in 3 seconds. 2 sets of tools. 2 halves of herself, laid out on cold stone. Radio crackles. Overwatch radio check. She keys her mic. Overwatch. Lima Charlie. Copy. Stand by. She waits. Desert absolutely silent. Just breathing and distant stars. Through scope, she watches the compound. Counts guards. Maps patrol routes. Identifies second floor window where hostages are held. Sees movement inside. A woman's silhouette. The mother. Still alive. At 0255, all elements stand by. Breach in 5. Tessa settles into shooting position. Breathes. Slows heart rate. Becomes still. Becomes the rifle. Then without warning, a memory hits. Somalia. 2021. Alone in a safe house, wounded. Stitching her own arm, blood everywhere. The feeling of absolute isolation. The certainty that if she died, no one would know for days. Her hands start to shake. No, not now, not when lives depend on her. She closes her eyes, breathes, remembers Thorne's words. Tomorrow you have us. She's not alone this time. The team is here. She's not the ghost she used to be. The shaking stops, her hands steady. Heart rate drops. She opens her eyes. Overwatch, we have movement. Second floor window. Can you confirm? She adjusts scope. Sees a man with rifle. Standing behind the mother, using her as shield. Confirmed. Adult male armed, using hostage as cover. No clean shot. Copy. Continue to monitor. She watches. The man moves. Gestures. Agitated. Shouting. The mother flinches. Man raises rifle. Points it at her head. Overwatch hostage in immediate danger. Male subject has weapon to hostage's head. Repeat imminent execution. Hayes' voice is tight. Can you take the shot? 1100 yards. Moving target. Hostage in line of fire. Variable wind. She has never made this shot, but she's made harder ones. When she was alone with no one to save her if she failed. Now she has a team. Affirmative. I have the shot, but I need separation. 60 seconds. You don't have 60 seconds. Execute when ready. The man's finger moves to his trigger. Mother closes her eyes. Tessa sees the moment. The infinitesimal instant when he shifts weight. Body separates from hostage by 3 inches. Gap the width of a human heart. She breathes in. 4 seconds. Holds. 7 seconds. World stops. Heart rate drops to 54. Mathematics. 1100 yards. Bullet drop 342 inches. Wind compensation 4.1 minutes of angle. Moving target lead by 2.3 feet. Temperature. humidity, Coriolis effect, 100 variables in one moment of absolute clarity. Her father's voice, steady Tessa, let it surprise you. Her mother's voice, protect when necessary. She squeezes, Barrett roars, recoil slams her shoulder, world blurs, 3.2 seconds, eternity in 3 heartbeats. 1,100 yards away, through a second-story window, the man's head snaps back. He falls. Mother screams, but she's alive. Target down, Tessa reports, voice steady. Breach, breach, breach. Team explodes into motion. Charges, detonations, gunfire. Choreographed violence compressed into seconds. Tessa watches through scope, tracking targets. Ready. She sees team enter building. Muzzle flashes. Then Overwatch hostages hit. Repeat hostage wounded, Doc. We need you now. Medical emergency. She's 1,100 yards away. Team inside. Someone bleeding. Decision in a heartbeat. Brennan, take the rifle. Maintain Overwatch. Doc, what? Take it, I'm going in. She moves, grabs medical kit, leaves Barrett. Runs down ridgeline at speed that defies darkness and weight. 400 yards of open ground. Covers it in under 2 minutes. Reaches compound as team secures last room. Where's the casualty? Second floor northeast room, father's femoral artery. She takes stairs 3 at a time. Bursts into room. Father lies on floor. Blood pumping from thigh in rhythmic spurts. Femoral artery. 90 seconds until unconsciousness. 2 to 3 minutes until death. Tessa drops to knees. Hands move automatically. Tourniquet from kit. High and tight above wound. Twist windlass. Once. Twice. 3 times. Bleeding stops. Mark time on his forehead with his blood. 0312. Hemostatic gauze pack the wound. Kowalski hands her gauze. She packs deep into wound channel. Feels for artery. Finds tear. Direct pressure. Bleeding slows. Stops. IV set up 18-gauge normal saline wide open. Thorne has it ready. She finds vein. First stick. Tapes line. Opens drip fully. Fluid replacement. Fighting shock. Pulse thready, 80 beats per minute. We need evac now. While she works radio chatter. Brennan from her position calling targets. Team securing compound. Mother and daughter crying but alive. Mission success. But success means nothing if this man dies. She works. Checks vitals. Adjusts tourniquet. Monitors shock. Hands moving in patterns her mother taught. Save them. Always try. Doc evac bird 3 minutes out, Hayes reports. Can he wait? She checks wound. Packing holding. Tourniquet secure, pulse weak but steady. She's bought time. Enough time. Affirmative, stable, but needs trauma surgery within hour. Roger, good work. Helicopter arrives in storm of rotor wash. They load father onto stretcher. Mother and daughter follow clinging to each other. Alive. Traumatized, but alive. Team extracts. Building secured, enemy neutralized. Hostages rescued. In helicopter, Tessa monitors father's vitals. Adjusts IV. Checks tourniquet. Professional. Focused. But inside something shifts. 2 halves of herself that have warred for 8 years begin to align. Not fighting. Working together. She killed a man tonight. From 1,100 yards through a window. And saved a man tonight. From bleeding out on a floor. Both with same hands. Both with same heart. Both necessary. Both right. Integration, not compromise. Integration, becoming whole by accepting all parts. Thorne catches her eye, nods once. Understanding. He's seen this moment. In himself, in others. The moment you stop running and start accepting. They land. Father rushed to surgery. Family disappears into care. Team debriefs. Mission success. 0 friendly casualties. 3 civilians rescued. 1 enemy killed. 1 shot. 1 save. Both by same person. Hayes pulls Tessa aside. His face serious, but something else in his eyes. Pride. Petty Officer Morgan. That shot. He searches for words. 18 years doing this. Worked with best snipers and military. What you did tonight I've never seen. 1,100 yards through window. Hostage 3 inches away. Variable wind. Night. That's not skill. That's art. My father's training, sir. And luck. No, luck is hitting target. What you did was precision. The kind that comes from somewhere deeper. He hands her folder. Navy recommending you for Navy Cross. For exceptional valor and life-saving actions. Citation mentions both shot and medical save. Both sides of what you did. Tessa feels weight of metal before it exists. Sir, you were doing two jobs simultaneously. You prove combat medicine and combat shooting are not separate. They're integrated capabilities. Two tools, same purpose. Protecting lives. He opens folder. Preliminary work on new MOS, combat medical specialists, sniper qualified, cross-training medics and snipers. Your mission is proof of concept. Pentagon wants it official. And they want you to write curriculum. She sees specifications, training requirements, integration protocols. The Morgan Protocol. Her name, her legacy. Not for killing, for integration. When do they want me to start? After you recover, 2 weeks, then report to Coronado. Training command. Understood, sir. Hayes extends hand. She shakes, his grip firm, respectful, between equals. You did good work tonight, both sides. Your father would be proud. She nods, cannot find words. He leaves. She stands alone, holding folder that represents future, where she doesn't choose, where both halves have purpose. Ghosts are still there, always will be, but quieter now. Accepting what she did was necessary. Integration is not betrayal. It's honoring both legacies. 6 months later, Tessa stands in classroom at Coronado Naval Base, 14 students before her. Medics, snipers, combat veterans, all volunteers for Advanced Combat Integration course. First class of Morgan Protocol. She's different now, healthier, shadows under eyes faded, gained weight, 122 pounds. Nightmares come twice weekly instead of nightly. Therapy helps, but integration helps more. Accepting herself. Good morning, she says. I'm Petty Officer Tessa Morgan, primary instructor for 12 weeks. This course teaches you to function as both combat medic and precision marksman, not switching between roles, integrating them. She clicks remote. Slide appears. Medical kit beside rifle. Your hands will learn both. Your mind will process both. Your heart will make decisions requiring both in same breath. Student raises hand, young woman, maybe 23. Ma'am, isn't there conflict medics save? Snipers kill. How do we reconcile? Tessa smiles. She's asked this question 1,000 times. You reconcile by understanding purpose. You don't shoot to kill. You shoot to protect. You don't heal to prolong suffering. You heal to restore life. Both serve same goal, preserving lives of those who cannot protect themselves. Next slide, her father's photograph. My father was Delta Force. He taught me a rifle is a tool, used for good or evil. Choice is yours. Next slide, her mother in uniform. My mother was intelligence. She taught me saving lives is highest calling. Compassion in combat isn't weakness, it's strength. Final slide, Nevada mission photograph. A family, alive, whole. 6 months ago, I made 1,100 yards shot through window to save hostage, then ran 400 yards to treat casualty with severed femoral. Both necessary, both saved lives. That's what this program is. Integration, being whole instead of divided. Class silent, processing. You'll learn to shoot at distances most cannot imagine. Save lives under conditions most medics never face. Switch between roles in seconds. This is hard, demanding. We'll test everything you know. She pauses. Meets 14 pairs of eyes, but if you succeed, you become something rare. Protectors who understand sometimes greatest mercy is pulling trigger. Sometimes greatest courage is putting rifle down and picking up scalpel. Both hands, one mission, saving lives. 12 weeks brutal, physical training, marksmanship, trauma medicine, integration scenarios. Students struggle. 3 withdraw voluntarily. 11 remain. 11 who understand. Graduation day. Tessa stands before class. You're the first, the prototype, but not the last. This program expands 6 Navy facilities, 3 Army bases, because you proved it works. She presents each graduate with patch. Medical crossover crosshairs, symbol of integration. Morgan Protocol. Wear this with honor. Remember what it represents. Both hands, one purpose. They salute. She returns it. 11 protectors. 11 who will carry legacy forward. After ceremony, Tessa finds quiet corner. Checks phone. Encrypted message waits. Her old unit. Special activities medical. Impressive work with program. Door still open if you want to return. High value OPI. Multinational. Requires your skill set. Interested. She stares at message. 6 months ago would have deleted immediately. Run from even suggestion. But she's different. Integrated. Running from skills means denying part of herself. Denial isn't healing, integration is. She doesn't delete, but doesn't respond yet. First, she needs advice. She finds Hayes in his office, shows him message. He reads, sets phone down carefully. What do you want to do? 6 months ago, I'd have said no, but now I understand I was running from myself, trying to be half of who I am. The program helped me see integration as strength. So you're considering going back? Considering I don't have to choose, maybe I can do both. Teach here, operate there when necessary. Hayes leans back. Team would miss you, but we'd understand. You've given us something valuable. The program, proof integration works. If you need to use those skills elsewhere, your choice. Would it be running away? No, accepting you have rare skills needed in multiple places, as long as you know your limits. Don't lose yourself like before. She nods. I'm different now. I know limits. I know cost. Then you're ready. She stands, salutes. Thank you, sir. That night, she responds to encrypted message. Interested. On my terms. I teach here. Operate there when necessary. Both roles, not running from either. Response within minutes. Understood. Welcome back. Briefing in 2 weeks. Tessa sets phone down, looks around quarters. Father's photograph. Morgan Protocol certification. Navy crossing case. All pieces of who she is. Integrated. She is Tessa Morgan, daughter of shadows and light, protector and healer, sniper and medic, not divided, whole. Ghosts still there, always will be, but they have names now. Faces. Stories. She's made peace. Every person she couldn't save made her better at saving next one. Every shot fired in protection made her more committed to healing. Integration, becoming more by accepting all instead of choosing one. 3 days later, she stands on range with young female student. Girl is 18. Emma. Father died Iraq. Promised mother she'd never touch rifle. But wants to serve. Protect. Honor father while keeping promise. Tessa knows this story, has lived it. Listen, she says gently. Promise wasn't wrong. Your mother loves you. Doesn't want to lose you like she lost your father. That's natural. Emma nods, tears in eyes. But your father taught you something valuable. A skill. That skill can be used for good or evil. Taking lives or protecting them. Choice is yours. How do I choose? Tessa thinks of her father, mother. 1,100-yard shot and femoral save. Integration. You don't choose, you do both. Steady hands that know when to pull trigger and when to hold compress. When to shoot and when to say bomb. That's honoring both parents. Emma wipes eyes. Can you teach me? Yes, but first understand, this path is hard, requires integrating parts that seem contradictory, means carrying ghosts, making impossible choices. Ready, Emma thinks, nods. I want to be like you, someone who protects and heals. Tessa smiles. Then let's begin. She hands Emma a rifle, watches her check it with ease. Father trained her well. Now Tessa will teach integration, medicine with marksmanship. Understanding protection is highest form of love. They shoot. Emma's form good. Needs refinement. Foundation there. After hour, Tessa teaches tourniquet application, wound packing, switching from shooting to saving in seconds. Emma learns quickly, absorbs both, begins to understand integration. Sun sets over range painting skyfire in gold. Tessa watches her student, sees future. Where protectors understand healing, healers understand protection. Steady hands serve both purposes without conflict. Her phone vibrates. Briefing details for next operation. High risk, critical, requiring someone who integrates combat and medicine at highest levels. She reads, accepts, sets phone aside, returns to teaching. Both roles, both legacies, both honored. This is who she is, who she's always been, who she'll continue to be, not divided, not running, whole. Tessa Morgan. The quiet corpsman, daughter of Delta and intelligence, protector and healer, sniper and medic, teacher and operator, legacy and future. Integration complete, mission ongoing, both hands steady, one heart whole. Desert waits, classroom waits, future waits. She walks toward all with equal purpose, ready to shoot when necessary, ready to save when possible, ready to teach others the path. Her father's voice echoes across years. Steady, Tessa, you're ready. Her mother's voice joins. That's what Morgans do, and Tessa's own voice finally certain. I will. Both ways, both hands, one mission, always.